everyone. Have you ever wondered if there's a divine hand guiding you through the maze of life, orchestrating moments and connections in ways you could never have imagined? We often hear about soulmates, those perfect people meant to walk beside us, bringing out the best in us, completing us in ways we never thought possible. But what if I told you that the journey to meeting your soulmate isn't just a matter of chance, that it might be part of a larger, beautiful plan designed by a higher power? Today, we're going to explore the profound truth that God, in his infinite wisdom, has already set the stage for this beautiful connection. He knows your heart, your desires, your weaknesses, and your strengths. And when the time is right, he will introduce you to the person who complements your soul in ways you never expected. Let's dive into how God works behind the scenes, guiding you to that moment when you meet your soulmate, not by coincidence, but by divine design. Trusting in God's plan is one of the most challenging yet liberating aspects of our spiritual journey. It's easy to become frustrated when things don't unfold in the way we expect or in the timeline we envision. We live in a world where instant gratification is the norm, where everything is expected to happen quickly. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us that we should be achieving things at a certain age, or that we should be in particular stages of life by now. But sometimes the most profound lessons we learn are the ones that come during the waiting period, the times when we feel as though nothing is happening. When it feels like we are stuck in a period of waiting, it's essential to understand that we are not forgotten or abandoned. Even in these moments, God is working behind the scenes, preparing us for what's to come. In fact, it is during these quiet seasons when God is often doing the most significant work in our lives. Trusting in God's plan during this time requires us to lean into faith, to know that there is a greater purpose unfolding even when we cannot see it with our own eyes. We must recognize that God's sense of timing is different from our own. Where we may feel impatient or anxious, he is always orchestrating the details of our lives with perfect precision. Think of the way a painter works on a canvas, adding layers upon layers to create a masterpiece. At times, the strokes may seem insignificant, and we may not understand how they contribute to the overall picture. But as the artist continues, the full design slowly begins to reveal itself. Similarly, God's plan unfolds slowly, piece by piece, often when we least expect it. And when it is time for us to see the bigger picture, we realize that every moment, every delay, every nothing happening period was preparing us for something greater. Patience is key in this process. It's easy to want things to happen on our own terms, but true growth often occurs when we surrender our need for control. Our society pushes us to act now, do everything at once, and grab hold of opportunities when they arise. But God's timing is about waiting for the right moment, the perfect moment, even if we don't always understand why things are moving slowly or why nothing is happening. Trusting in God's plan means having the courage to wait even when the world around us seems to be moving at lightning speed. It's about choosing faith over fear and confidence over doubt. Think about the lives of biblical figures such as Abraham or Joseph. Abraham was promised by God that he would be the father of many nations, yet he had to wait decades before his son Isaac was born. There were years of unanswered prayers, of waiting and wondering if God's promise would ever come to fruition, yet in the end, God's plan was far beyond Abraham's expectations. And it unfolded perfectly at the right moment in time. Joseph, too, went through years of suffering, betrayal, and isolation before seeing the fulfillment of his dreams. But in the end, he became a key figure in the preservation of his people. Both of their stories remind us that even in the seasons where nothing seems to be happening, God is still at work, aligning everything according to his purpose. We may wonder, why am I waiting? Why hasn't this thing or this person come into my life yet? It's natural to question during moments of uncertainty, but the truth is that waiting is never wasted. In times when we feel stagnant or overlooked, God is refining us. He is helping us develop qualities like resilience, trust, and patience, qualities that will be essential for the next season of our lives. The process of waiting isn't about sitting idly by, but about preparing ourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the blessings ahead. Waiting is also about learning to live fully in the present moment. We often get caught up in what's next, so much so that we miss the beauty of the here and now. God calls us to be present in our current circumstances, to find joy in the small moments, and to learn what we need to learn right where we are. Often it is in these moments of stillness that we hear God's voice most clearly, guiding us on the path that leads to what he has prepared for us. And trusting that he is orchestrating everything in our lives, even when it feels like nothing is happening, means embracing the present with grace and gratitude. When we talk about God's plan, we are not referring to a rigid, pre-written script. God's plan is dynamic, deeply relational, and tailored to each individual. His plan involves guiding us toward what is best for us. Not necessarily what we want, but what he knows will bring us the most growth, joy, and fulfillment. God's timing can often seem counterintuitive to us because his understanding is far beyond our own. While we may have our own timeline for how things should unfold, God sees the bigger picture. He knows the perfect timing for every season of our lives, and he knows exactly what we need at each step. During times of waiting, it is important to remain rooted in prayer and trust. When we pray, we acknowledge that we are surrendering our control and placing our trust in God's hands. It's in those moments of prayer that we are reminded that we are not alone. God has not abandoned us in our waiting. He is actively involved in our lives, even if we can't see the evidence yet. Prayer brings us back to the source of our faith and reminds us that we are part of a much larger story, one that God is writing with perfect love and intention. Sometimes, our waiting period may be a time of personal transformation. God is not only working in external circumstances, but he's also working on the inside of us, shaping our hearts, minds, and spirits to be more aligned with his will. Waiting can help us learn patience, humility, and trust. It can reveal our deepest desires and longings and bring us face to face with areas of our lives that need healing or growth. This inner work is often invisible, but it's just as important as the external events that will eventually take place. In fact, the work God does inside of us can often make us more prepared and receptive to the blessings that are yet to come. Additionally, waiting serves as a reminder that we do not need to rush ahead or force things to happen. Sometimes we push so hard, believing that if we just take control, things will move faster. But God reminds us that his plan is far better than anything we could create on our own. The more we learn to trust in his timing, the more we can rest in the knowledge that he is at work, even when we don't see it. We are not called to force or manipulate circumstances. We are called to be faithful, to trust, and to wait with expectancy for what God will bring. It is in the midst of waiting that we often have the opportunity to grow our faith. Trusting in God's plan when everything seems still or uncertain stretches our belief in his goodness and faithfulness. Each day we wait, we are given the chance to choose faith over doubt, hope over fear, and trust over anxiety. And every time we choose to trust, we become more aligned with the peace and security that comes from knowing that God is in control. Though waiting may be difficult, we are never wasting time. There are no lost seasons in God's kingdom. Every moment of waiting, every period of feeling like nothing is happening is an opportunity for us to grow deeper in our relationship with him. The delays, the silence, the seasons of stillness are all part of the grand plan that he is working out in our lives. Even when we can't see it, even when we can't feel it, God is moving and preparing us for the blessings that are just around the corner. Sometimes the timing of meeting your soulmate isn't just about your heart's readiness to fall in love, but about your entire being, your personal strength, emotional growth, and spiritual maturity. The idea of soulmates often conjures up images of romantic connections, perfect matches that sweep us off our feet and fill the emptiness we may have once felt. We long for that person who complements us in every way, but there is a deeper layer to meeting your soulmate, a layer that goes beyond the chemistry or the initial attraction. God introduces us to our soulmates when we are ready, not only to love, but to give love in a way that is healthy, purposeful, and aligned with his divine plan for our lives. The idea of readiness is one that we often overlook in our fast-paced world, where immediate connection and instant fulfillment are the norms. In a society that promotes quick gratification, waiting for the right time and the right person can feel like a daunting process. We may feel that we are ready for love because we crave the companionship, the partnership, or the joy that a soulmate can bring. However, readiness is not just about the desire for another person. It's about our personal growth, how we've learned to love ourselves, how we've healed from past wounds, and how we've come to understand our true purpose in life. God's introduction of your soulmate is not just about connecting two people romantically. It's about bringing two individuals together who have been individually shaped and transformed in ways that can now support each other. The process of preparing for a soulmate is about becoming the person who is ready to love, share, and build with another in a way that reflects the love God has for us. God doesn't just throw two people together based on desire or convenience. He prepares both hearts in ways that are often unseen and imperceptible until the moment comes when everything aligns. Personal strength is an essential part of this readiness. We often think of strength as a physical attribute, but in the context of relationships, true strength lies in emotional resilience and inner fortitude. Life is full of challenges, and it's essential to face them with a sense of self-awareness and stability. When we're able to navigate difficult situations, stand firm in our values, and overcome adversity with grace, we become stronger individuals. Individuals who can offer their partner a sense of stability and support when life gets tough. Meeting your soulmate may not happen in the moment when you are at your lowest point, but rather when you've learned to rise above the struggles you face and have come to understand your own worth. Strength, however, also includes vulnerability. It's not just about having the courage to stand strong, but also the courage to open up and let others see you for who you truly are. Often we want to protect ourselves, to guard our hearts from pain or disappointment. But God introduces us to our soulmate when we have the strength to be vulnerable, to share our hearts honestly, and to trust in the process of love. Being emotionally strong means having the capacity to love deeply without fear of being hurt. It's about knowing that love isn't just a perfect feeling, but a commitment and investment in the growth of another person and in the growth of the relationship itself. Vulnerability and emotional strength are both necessary for building a deep and lasting connection with a soulmate. Equally important is spiritual growth. Our relationships with others are mirrors of our relationship with God. In the same way that we seek a deeper connection with our Creator, we must also seek a deeper connection with ourselves and with those we choose to share our lives with. Spiritual growth is the process of maturing in our faith, learning to trust in God's plan, and becoming aligned with His purpose for our lives. We are all constantly evolving spiritually, and it is through that growth that we come to understand the true meaning of love, sacrifice, and partnership. Before meeting your soulmate, God may use seasons of spiritual growth to refine your heart and mind. There may be moments when you feel alone, questioning your purpose, or wondering why your love life hasn't manifested in the way you hoped. In these moments, God is teaching you to trust in His timing and to understand the kind of love that He has in mind for you. Sometimes, our spiritual growth involves a season of healing, of forgiving past hurts, of letting go of things that are holding us back from becoming the best versions of ourselves. These moments of solitude and reflection allow us to cultivate a stronger relationship with God, and it is through that relationship that we are prepared to meet our soulmate. God knows that we need to be spiritually grounded before we can enter into a relationship that is grounded in His love. A soulmate isn't just a romantic partner. They are someone who will walk with you in your spiritual journey. Meeting your soulmate may not just be about finding someone who makes you happy. It's about finding someone who will encourage you, challenge you, and help you grow spiritually. If we're not spiritually aligned, our relationship with our soulmate will be a struggle. But when we are both growing in faith, learning to trust in God's love, and seeking His will in all that we do, the foundation of our relationship becomes stronger, and we are able to weather any storm together. The process of personal growth before meeting your soulmate often involves overcoming past traumas and disappointments. It's common to enter into relationships with baggage, old wounds, unmet needs, insecurities, and fears. These things can weigh heavily on us, affecting the way we view ourselves and the way we approach future relationships. But before God introduces us to our soulmate, He may guide us through a process of healing. This healing is often difficult. It involves confronting our past, processing our emotions, and learning to forgive. It may require us to break free from unhealthy patterns of behavior, to let go of old beliefs that no longer serve us, and to heal from past hurts that continue to impact the way we view ourselves and others. Healing from past wounds is essential to being ready for a soulmate because it ensures that we're entering into a new relationship with a clear heart and a healthy mindset. When we haven't healed from past hurts, we may inadvertently project our pain onto the people around us, including our soulmate. But when God has done a work of healing in us, we are able to enter into a relationship with a sense of wholeness, knowing that we have let go of the past and are ready to move forward into a future full of possibility. One of the most significant aspects of being ready for your soulmate is understanding your own worth. Many people enter relationships looking for someone to complete them, to make them feel whole. But true readiness for a soulmate comes when we understand that we are already complete in God. Our worth is not based on the love we receive from another person. It is rooted in the love that God has for us. When we understand our value and our worth in God's eyes, we are better able to offer that same love and respect to another person. God wants us to know that we are worthy of love and that we are capable of giving love in a way that is healthy, selfless, and genuine. Meeting your soulmate happens when you are no longer seeking validation from another person, but when you are secure in who you are, knowing that your identity is found in God alone. At this point, your relationship with your soulmate is not about fulfilling a void, but about joining two people who are already whole and complete, working together toward a shared purpose. Sometimes, God introduces you to your soulmate when you are ready, not just in love, but in personal strength and spiritual growth. He prepares you through life's challenges, through seasons of solitude and reflection, and through times of emotional healing. Only then can you meet the person who will complement you in the way God intended, building a relationship that is strong, healthy, and rooted in love.